like they're a bit more limited. Like they might just have a Dread Return to the graveyard they were saving, and just be like, oh, Wheel of Sun and Moon. I'll just make a Golgari Grave Troll and see if that works.
For those who don't even know what Ground Seal does, it's 1G for an enchantment. Cards in graveyards can't be the targets of spells or abilities, and it cantrips when it enters the battlefield.
The cantrip's a big part too.
Yeah, cantrip is huge.
And Wheel and Sun and Moon is the other card. It's white-green hybrid, so white-green to cast. And enchants a player. An enchanted player, if a card we put into their graveyard, it's put on the bottom of their library instead.
So it's very hard to beat that through Dredge.
Yes. So looks like we're getting another feature match. Kai Ruan versus Jonathan Sukenik. Kai, I mentioned earlier, another Ann Arbor local, playing the it's New Horizons, for lack of a better term. But instead of the old Terravores, they've been upgraded to Stoneforge Mystics for Batterskull and Sword of Fire and Ice. So you got Stoneforge Mystic, Tarmogoyf, Knight of the Reliquary, and a Sower as the creature base. And then it looks like he may have cut the Stifles from this deck, but it has Brainstorm, Mental Misstep, Force of Will, Daze, Ponder, Swords, Jace the Mind Sculptor, 4 Horizon Canopy, Wasteland, and blue-white, green dual lands and fetches as the mana base. And
on the other hand, we have blue, white, black, Thopter Foundry, Dark Confidant, Stoneforge Mystic. Reminds me kind of the deck Edgar Flores used at the Invitational.
Yeah, that was what I was thinking about.
But it has Thopter Foundry, which I don't think Edgar had.
He did not. This reminds me actually of Sam Black wrote about this deck way before the Grand Prix. He was considering playing it as of, I want to say, Dallas, with you have Stoneforge Mystic, which gets Sword of the Meek, which is really important.
Yeah.
It's another tutor. It looks like Kai is up game 1 before we start this game.
Okay.
So we'll see where that goes.
With a name like Kai.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Actually, at Grand Prix Columbus 2 years back, Kai Ruan played against Brian Cole, and he's like, I remember back in the day, I played against a Kai twice at this event, and back in the day, that used to mean you were dead. To which Kai promptly proceeded to play a game. He was playing a very burn-heavy zoo deck. Brian Colwell passes the turn with like 13 power of guys in play and at 18 life, and Kai has 6 cards in hand and just promptly burns him out. It's like, Bolt you, Riftbolt unsuspends on my next turn. I'm also gonna like, he threw like 2 bolts at him and stuff, untap, Riftbolt unsuspends, Chain Lightning, Fire Blast you.
Man, take 18.
It may have been a price of progress somewhere in there too, but it was a lot.
Wow. Yeah, it's really interesting. I remember when Sam Black was telling us about the Stoneforge Mystic for Sword of the Meek interaction.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it looks like his other equipment are Batterskull, obviously, and his other equipment, not GT, not Sword of Fire and Ice, but sort of Feast and Famine, which is really interesting. So on the right, you have Kai Ruan here, he's up a game, and John Sukenik is going to be playing first this game, presumably. Yeah. Both players on Stoneforge Mystic decks. Just a battle of Dark Confidant and the Thopter Foundry combo against Knight of the Reliquary and Tarmogoyf, pretty much.
So, interesting card in the sideboard of Jonathan Sukenik's deck. Obviously, it doesn't come in here, but Flusterstorm, this card we just saw from Commander, which is seeing a decent amount of legacy play. As a Storm player, how do you feel about that card in general?
It's a card. It's just another counterspell. You know, they can board as many of those as they want. You just play around all of them the same way. It's not too different from a Spell Pierce. A little more obnoxious, harder to play around, but yeah, just another card, another day in the life. It's nothing super spiteful. So it looks like John Sukenik is probably going to board in GT or Manrique Gusari, or both here. Probably going to board in Diabolic Edict, probably Wrath of God, maybe Phyrexian Metamorph. I can see that coming in here.
Copy the equipment, sure.
Yeah.
Or copy Stoneforge Mystic.
Yeah, or copy a Knight of the Reliquary and start that fight. But all of these are singletons, and those are powered by some Enlightened Tutor in John's main deck. He's probably also going to bring in Perish and Smother. He's got a pretty stacked sideboard here, so it should be interesting. Yeah. Whereas Kai has Spell Snare, which is really good here for the Stoneforge Mystics, Dark Confidants. Even counters the Thopter Foundry, so just all the threats in this deck are countered by it. Probably Threads of Disloyalty, kills a Stoneforge, and taking a Dark Confidant is going to end the game.
Taking a Dark Confidant will just totally take control of the game.
The Stifles are in the sideboard now. I don't think those necessarily come in here. Interesting to note, Kai actually has Jaces, whereas John does not. So the more controlling deck does not have the Jaces here.
Interesting.
Let's see what else. I think that from Kai you can expect Spell Snares, Threads of Disloyalty, Jason the Mind Sculptor, and if he's feeling adventurous, maybe Stifle. But I don't think you want Bajuka Bog. That really doesn't do much against the combo. John does have a Crucible of Worlds, but I don't think that's really going to matter. Or an Academy Runes, but Bajuka Bog's not really what you want.
Right.
Same with Engineered Explosives. Maybe set to 2 to kill all the stuff, but I think that Kai wants to be a bit proactive here because he's got heavy threat density and heavy counter density, and they both are just kind of like jamming threats and counters into each other. It feels like, or at least as far as Kai knows from game 1.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like Kai's up a game, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
John plays.
Wasteland. There seems to be some confusion. Brainstorm in response.
Looks like there's been a couple Wastelands going on already.
Yeah.
Looks like the second one from Kai.
Yeah. Looks like Kai has double Wasteland. I think I see a third in his hand too.
Yeah, that's what it looks like to me. Just Wasteland you out of the game.
And this is the issue of playing too many dual lands. This is exactly what can happen.
Well, with control decks, it's a bit different because you're expecting to go late. You're going to need all the colors over multiple turns, so you can't really say, "Oh, I'm not going to play Wasteland ever," or not going to play a duel ever. You're just going to have to. But you want one of each basic so you can actually have a source that isn't Wastelandable.
Right.
So John effectively starts off this game with a fetch on a Marsh Flats, and Kai lets it pass with a Windswept Heath in play. It looks like Kai has some Force of Wills, a Tarmogoyf, and a Crucible, and a Swords Blushers in his hand.
Yeah, so by wastelanding some of the early lands, it really sets John back here. And even though they're like basically starting at parity in like air quotes, if John kept a land light hand, it could completely mess him up.
Yeah, Kai kept his hand knowing I have all these Wastelands. I'm going to play this game after that. And John keeps his hand knowing, well, this is what I have.
And that's pretty much what the Kai's deck wants to do, right? Like, it has cards like Nether Reliquary in it, so it can specifically just chain Wastelands. I mean, it's one battle mode of attack you can use.
Kai asking his opponent which dual land that is.
Huh. What colors does that one make?
Actually, the phrase he used, we were discussing this, he's like, I don't know what any of them do. I'm going to ask my opponent, is that one Godless Shrine or Hollow Fountain?
It's a good question to ask. So it looks like that's Academy Runes John has in play also?
Yes, that looks like an Academy Runes.
Yeah, so that's definitely a sign that Kai was hitting his lands hard.
Yeah.
Because he wouldn't have deployed that if he had colored lands to play out.
I have a feeling that Kai's going to use his third Wasteland and then go for a Crucible lock here. It's going to get real rough, actually.
Yeah, I think I see.
Is he going to try to play Tarmogoyf, though?
I think I see a Forced in his hand, too.
Yeah. I think that, okay, so that's going to get Swords, sure. I think Kai is just setting up to resolve this Crucible, because I don't think John really knows that he is Crucible. And he's land light, needs to make all of his colors through this Academy Rune, so things could get awkward. Though if John misses a land here, I think you just snap Wasteland the Scrubline.
Yeah, if John does not have a land, that Wasteland is doing some work.
If Kai doesn't have a third land, he probably wants the Crucible instead. There's a third land. There's his Crucible. This is the showdown now.
Alright, you gotta force that.
Excellent. Yeah, that's how you know they mean business. Exile Brainstorm with Forcible. Thanks.
Yeah. No fooling around here. We cannot let you have a Crucible after I've Wastelanded you twice. Soon to be 3 times.
Forcible, Exile, the best card in the format. Not gonna happen.
There's Crucible, and with the Wasteland on Kai's side, John knows that's bad news.
Looks like John has 2 more Wastelands for mana and an Academy Runes, and that's it.
There's a sword, and now we're gonna see double Wasteland this turn.
Possibly single and playing in that Knight of the Reliquary he just drew, actually.
Sure.
First main, Wasteland the Scrubland. Second main, yeah.
Alright, there's that. I guess he just has all colorless lands, right? So.
Yep. Academy Runes, Wasteland.
Yeah, that force is pretty timely. If John landed a Crucible of his own, it might be a different story.
It might be a different game. Kai could still landlock John, but he couldn't actually grind him off of the land count that he was at already.
Right.
So this looks like another Knight of the Reliquary. I think Kai's going to turn that Tundra probably into another Wasteland and just send his opponent's lands home.
Oh man,
Yeah.
brutal.
Very brutal. This is what Knight of the Reliquary does to people.
Yep. And once again, like I was saying a second ago, this is one plan the New Horizons deck can do. Just shut your opponents off their mana. That's why a lot of people have Stifles in the main deck. So
Yes.
you can stifle their fetch lands, then wasteland them.
As opposed to our first feature match, this one is first round one at the time. This one, not so much.
No, we'll probably. If there was a third match, you could probably get to that one in time, assuming
Yeah.
this one finishes quickly, which it should.
Yeah, this is one of the wide parts of Legacy. You have this wide spectrum of deck speeds. Some of these decks just kill you immediately. Some of these decks, maybe 20 turns down the line they kill you, but could go either way.
Yeah. And Kai wastes both of Jonathan's lands. And now John just has a single island left in play versus Kai's Knight of the Reliquary, Knight of the Reliquary, Crucible of Worlds.
With force backup.
Yeah, this game is quickly heading in Kai's favor. Do you think this is just a bad matchup for Jonathan?
I don't actually know how the Thopter Foundry combo affects this, but typically the New Horizons deck is very favored against these sort of like blue-white fair decks.
And that's the hand.
Yeah.
John knows that there's no coming back from that one.
Yep.
Also, his life was at 3, so
Yeah.
he's gonna die next turn.
Yeah.
But
Pretty close to that previous turn too. So, well, that was the second match. Maybe we'll see a third.
get all the feature matches. See if
Yep.
we can complete the Empire set of feature matches.
Yeah, you can actually see the other feature matches still ongoing in the back.
Yeah.
I think one of those is a Joe Bernal. I can't really tell. And
It's unclear.
yeah, there's an AJ Soccer railbirding.
Hey everybody, back in the booth. I'm Gavin Verham here with Ari Lax. And we've watched 2 feature matches already this round.
Yeah.
Is the third on its way? We're going to find out soon. We saw Ben Weinberg win in blistering fashion with his Hive Mind deck.
Yeah, he was playing against a mud poison deck. You may have heard of it. Conley Woods played it in LA. It was originally a Team Mean deck design, but his opponent really just didn't have a way to interact with him. Like a lot of the typical, he had a Chalice of the Void, doesn't do anything.
Right.
And just sort of